Dennis Rodman has made headlines. So the reason why he's been talked about these last 24 to 48 hours is that he had an interview with DJ Vlad, and there was a question DJ Vlad asked about Larry Bird. I'm just paraphrasing what Dennis Rodman said and what DJ Vlad said. DJ Vlad basically said, "Do you feel Larry Bird could play in today's NBA? Would he be great today?" And Dennis Rodman said that Larry Bird would not be a great player today, that he would be in Europe, and that he just wouldn't be able to cut in today's NBA. He then gave praise to Jokic, saying Jokic is amazing and Jokic is doing what Bird wouldn't be able to do in the current NBA. That's basically what he said. Now, do I agree with his praise of Jokic when he said Jokic is amazing? Yes, absolutely. I feel Jokic is the best player in the league right now until someone dethrones the Nuggets. He was just the best player in the playoffs. So, yes, he gets that respect. But with that being said, I do believe Dennis Rodman is way off about what he said about Larry Bird. I do believe in today's NBA, Larry Bird would be great. He would be up there with Doncic, Jokic in being an MVP level player. He would be competing for MVPs. I know some people will say, well, Larry Bird wasn't a great defender. But if you look at defensive win shares, I believe Larry Bird is somewhere in the top 50 all time. So that shows that he was a pretty good defender. Was he a great man-to-man defender? No, but he was great at rotating. He was great at switching, and his man-to-man defense was decent back in his day up until he got a serious back injury, I believe in 86 or 87, and that's when it really fell off. But if you look at today's NBA, a lot of these top scorers don't really play defense at all. There's not many guys who are two-way players I can think of. I think Giannis is one of them. Paul George, yeah, you could say he's a great two-way player. I wouldn't say he's a top 5 player in this league. Kawhi, when he's healthy and when he wants to play, is a top 5 player in this league, but I don't think he'll ever get back again due to these injuries. So very few guys dominate both ends. I look at a guy like Steph Curry, who won the championship last year. He's not a good defensive player, but he's a great offensive player. So teams would build around Larry. And if you're not a great defender, what teams will do in this current NBA, they'll make sure they load the team up with great defensive players to make up for your shortcomings. It's kind of like what the Nuggets did with Jokic, that Jokic was never a great defender. So what did they do? They went out, they got KCP, they got Aaron Gordon. So to make up for his lapses in defense. And granted, Jokic got a lot better, where I feel now he's a decent defender. He can make rotations and whatnot. But it's the same concept would apply to Larry Bird. Look at the Mavs before they traded for Kyrie. They had Jokic with a bunch of good defensive players. I mean, they had Doncic with a bunch of good defensive players to make up for his defense. So there's no doubt in my mind that Larry Bird would still be great in today's NBA. He would still be getting MVP awards. You also have to look at his offense. His offense would be godly today. Larry Bird was actually a very good three-point shooter in the 80s and early 90s. Let me just bring up his three-point shooting percentage. I'm just going to look it up for his career. Let's look it up right now. Larry Bird, just looking it up on Basketball Reference. So Larry, for his career, shot close to 38% from three. That's pretty good. He only attempted 1.9 threes a game. So it's a little bit less than 2, and he was still able to shoot a very high percentage. And a few years during his career, he had about 5 seasons where he shot 40% or higher from three. Actually, 6 in his career. That shows you how good of a three-point shooter he is. And keep in mind, he wasn't allowed to hoist a bunch of threes per game like you are today. So he definitely would be a good three-point shooter. Just I think it's hard to be efficient when you're only allowed to take 2 attempts per game. So you have to be very good, which he was. So and his offense was all around. He was a great ball handler. He had great passing skills. He would be an awesome player today. So I think what Dennis Rodman said was obviously very stupid. And it was based on hate. Dennis has never liked Larry. He made that clear way back in, I think it was 87, if I'm not mistaken, when he said that Larry Bird would only be a great player. Larry Bird wouldn't be considered a great player if he was black. He would just be considered another guy. So he made that statement before. So he's always been a hater of Larry Bird. He just doesn't like him. There's some bitterness for Larry Bird lighting him up during the '87 conference finals. I've heard that. And he even admitted in an interview with DJ Vlad that he was bitter when he made those statements. So he still has that hate for him, even though he won't say it today. I think it showed up in those comments. He tried to be slick about it, I felt, but it backfired. Granted, I think Rodman benefits from this anyways because people are talking about him, and he's the type of guy who believes in that old saying that any type of publicity is good publicity. So he's getting this attention that he wouldn't normally get easily without doing something outrageous, such as going to North Korea to see Kim Jong-un. So I thought Dennis was being a douchebag, and I thought the comments were very stupid. So that's how I looked at it. I don't have anything else to say about this. So yeah, that's it.